Welcome to the show. I'm Regina Lay.
And I'm Sean Yao.
Well, it is a historic day for the Philippines as the 2023 FIBA World Cup has officially kicked off.
As we speak, Gilas Pilipinas is facing off with the Dominican Republic over at the Philippine Arena. Gretchen is not here because she is live over there for us at the arena. Gretch, what's going on?
Regina and Sean, I am hearing the music, the oohs and the ahs from out here. The game has started. It's Philippines versus Dominican Republic. I'm raring to get inside, but I gotta say good evening to you guys from the Philippine Arena. 5 years since we won our hosting bid back in December 2017. We're finally down to this day. The Philippines, a basketball crazy nation, gets to bear their hearts out to the world as we tip off the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Well, speaking of tip-off, we were expecting the President Bongbong Marcos to be tipping off that game. Unfortunately, they told us that didn't happen. He was supposed to recreate his father's shot, tipping off the Basketball World Cup back in 1978, 45 years ago, when it was first held here. But that didn't happen. Siguro, medyo na traffic, medyo na late yung presidente. But we have confirmed he's definitely in there in the arena. You know, it's great energy. It's great atmosphere here. As expected, the crowd showed up. The bleachers are filled to the brim, people looking like ants in there. But there were some areas that were unoccupied in the middle. But that was, you know, as of the last time I got in there, I got out here. Hopefully, we got to break some records for tonight. The aim is to break 32,616. That number was set back in 1994 FIBA World Cup finals in Toronto between the Shaq O'Neal-led USA team versus Russia. And as of 6 p.m., we were down to about 21,214. We got a lot more hours. We will find out the final count in the third quarter of the game. We also saw the opening ceremonies with Ben, Sarah G, and the Dawn, giving us a musical treat. Different generations. They gave us some ballers here that dance to the tune of music, and it feels like a fiesta, like a concert out here. Surprisingly, Reg and Sean, I left the house at 1 p.m. Do you know what time I got here? I got here at around 2 p.m. Just 1 hour. The traffic was smoothly flowing. There's no problem with the crowds here. I think we did our duty as newscasters to tell people to come early, to come organized. And speaking of the matches, as expected, number 7 Italy won against number 29 Angola in the first game, 81-67. And during the match, the Gilas team didn't take a break. They were scouting the team. We saw Coach Tim Cohn, Coach Chot Reyes, Kai Soto, Kiefer Ravenna, the leaders of the team, all watching Italy and Angola. They are the next opponents after this Dominican Republic squad. And for the team, Coach Tim Cohn did his work. He went over to Spain, did a scouting duties, came back here. The scouting is done. We practiced as much as we can given the circumstances. The sixth man is here. They all showed up. And hopefully that factors in producing an upset in favor of the Philippines.
Gretch, speaking of the sixth man...
Wait. I just wanted to say, ang galing. We didn't talk about it. It turns out we're all wearing blue.
We're all wearing blue. To support Gilas, of course, I even matched my eye makeup.
We didn't talk about it, by the way.
All right, Gretch, speaking of the sixth man, what does the crowd think about our chances?
Nako, ang dami-dami lumipad papunta dito, Reg and Sean. Meron ako nakabusap from Iloilo, from Binangonan, from dyan lang, sa labas lang, Bukawi, Bulacan, people, you know, coming here from different parts of the Philippines. I asked them what they thought about our chances in this window. And honestly, they didn't seem to care. They were just starstruck that they get to watch the Gilas team right in front of them. They get to watch international talent competing on Philippine soil. And that for them was enough to shout their hearts out. They're ready to be the sixth man that hopefully will change the outcome that, you know, the scouts and the pundits were talking about prior to the World Cup.
That's exactly what Quinito said. He said the fact that we are hosting the World Cup
is
already
a big win. Gretch, it seems like anyone is there at the moment. Have you run into any VIPs?
We ran into some VIPs out there. We saw some Senator Bato de la Rosa. He kept his word. He's out here. Senator Bongo, Big Zubiri, Pia Cayetano, JB Ejercito, and MVP, Boss MVP sitting beside Dirk Nowitzki. We also saw some celebrities, Jose Manalo, Philip Salvador, And the former Gilas squad, the 1978 team, was invited here by the SBP. We saw Asi Taulava, and we also saw the former team captain, Gabe Norwood. We got his thoughts on the current Gilas squad.
The team before they went on this game today?
I sent my individual messages out to everyone.
Specifically to?
The whole team. Even when the pool was still in existence, before the final 12 was there, messaged Coach Chat last night. I try to keep my distance, it's their time and let them have it, but at the same time know that I am supporting.
This is the best Gilas team ever formed.
That's a good thing, right? We're moving in the right direction. If it's getting worse, that's a problem. If it's worse than before, that's a problem, right? It should be the best team every time out, so I can take it.
All right, Gretch, let's get down to business. Now that the game has tipped off, exactly what does Gilas Pilipinas need to do to win this game?
Well, first of all, they would need to contain Carl Anthony Towns, the NBA Rookie of the Year, three-time NBA All-Star. He is going to be the focal point of the Gilas team's defense. Our wing defenders need to step up. Dwight Ramos, Jamie Malonzo, they need to be able to perform, to be able to contain Carl Anthony Towns. And just, probably a lot of cheers from the home crowd to get everybody pumped up. And to, who knows what can happen with that momentum? Who knows what can happen on home soil?
All right, and then of course they're gonna have to finish top two in the category.
That's correct.
They need to
finish. Yeah, they need to finish top two in bracket A. So they'll be going up against Dominican Republic tonight, Italy on Tuesday, Angola on Sunday. They have the biggest chances against Angola on Sunday because Angola is ranked number 29, Italy number 7, Dominican Republic number 10. They need to finish top two to get to the next round. But in case they don't get to do that, they can still vie for something else, which is to enter the Olympics. They need to finish top in Asia. And as we've seen, as I've sent you earlier, as of yesterday, the Philippines is number 1 in terms of the power rankings amongst all Asian teams at 19. China is at 21. Jordan is at 24. Japan at 26. Iran at 30. And Lebanon at 28. So hindi talaga imposible. There's a lot that can happen here. It's time, I think, for us to witness some magic.
All right, so there is more than one way to get to the Olympics. I'm liking that.
Well, cross your fingers. So much going on, so exciting. Thank you so much for those updates. Go and enjoy the game, Gretch. We'll try to catch you again later on in the program. That was Gretchen Ho coming to us live from the Philippine Arena. The energy is definitely through the roof at the arena for the opening games of the FIBA World Cup, and it looks like the crowd tally may even break a record. Joining us live again, also from the Philippine Arena, at a different location, is Jenny Dongon. Jenny, thanks for joining us for this. I know you've been there the whole day. Where's our home team at?
Reg, Gilas Pilipinas has begun their campaign for the 2023 FIBA World Cup. And if you're here right now, you can really feel the overwhelming support for our national team, both from national and foreign basketball fans. As early as 7 this morning, we joined these fans at the P2P pickup station at SM Mega Mall for the free ride going to the Philippine Arena in Bulacan. From SM Mega Mall, it only took our team just 30 minutes to get to the arena. And when we got here, this was what we saw. We met Casey and his father, who came all the way from London. They went home just to see the games live and show support for the national squad. They said they spent more than 200,000 pesos on their plane ticket. But for Casey, it's all worth it.
I feel very excited because I want to see Gilas play, and as my dad said, I've been a fan since I was 5 years old. And being stood here next to the Philippine Arena,
we're going to break the record.
Yeah, break the world record.
And we're part of it.
Also wanting to be part of history is 82-year-old Lolo Fernando from Laguna. Of course, he would also like to see Gilas win it all.
Manalo tayo, mga Pilipino. Kaya ako nandito, kahit 82 years old na ako . Alas 12, gising na kami, nakaready na kami papunta dito .
Ganun ka ka?
Oo, excited.
We also met Alan, who also chose to head over to the arena for the experience of watching the games live.
Excited po. Excited pong pumunta dito kahit napuyat sa Antay, okay lang, kahit mainit.
Masaya.
Masaya.
Dominican Republic!
Foreign basketball fans are also in high spirits. Fans from Angola and Dominican Republic came to the Philippines to support their teams and see other international basketball stars play.
But we are overwhelmed by how many people come to support their team. I feel like we're gonna be the only Dominican. ¡Ánimos! ¡Fuerza! ¡Plátano power! They understand.
Reg, currently basketball fans are now inside the Philippine Arena enjoying Gilas teams. And we still have no words yet in the final tally of the crowd, but it's possible for tonight's game to break a crowd record should the official count reach 50,000. Reg.
Oo nga, Joy and Jenny, so much excitement over that final crowd tally. Thank you so much for that update, Jenny Dongon, coming to us live from the Philippine Arena.
Now, let's not forget that aside from the Philippine Arena in Bulacan, games are also simultaneously being held over at the Mall of Asia Arena. News 5's Ian Suyu has been there also since this morning. Ian, how are you holding up? What is going on over there?
Sean, the first game of the FIBA World Cup 2023 here at the Mall of Asia Arena has already ended, with Montenegro taking a 91-71 win over Mexico. But more than the on-court action, fans were also delighted by the several booths by the organizers, including the unveiling of the interactive AI named Pearl.
There's no doubt that the FIBA World Cup fever has taken over the country. And here at the Mall of Asia Arena, fans were here quite early today, excited to see the opening matches and the international players who are here.
Team na paborito ko mapanood is Team USA. Pero syempre, Gilas pa rin puso. Jordan Clarkson tsaka Junmar Fajardo eh.
USA, yun ang gusto kong baado eh. Kasi fan ako ng Lakers talaga. Die hard talaga to.
And it's not just Filipino fans who are here. Supporters of other international teams have all made their way to MOA. And yes, today, it was fans from Mexico and Montenegro. Also making its debut in MOA is the AI avatar named Pearl, the first digital human technology in the country. The unveiling was attended by PLDT Smart Telecommunications President and Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas President Al Panlilio, as well as Signal President Miss Jane Basas.
Kamusta dyan? Ako sa mga laro sa Basketball World Cup.
Pearl has the capability to converse in English or Filipino. She can also respond to questions related to schedules and other information about the FIBA World Cup.
I'm very proud that it's coming from the Philippines and it uses digital technology that is actually not present yet here that we don't use. So I'm very proud of this accomplishment of the group.
We're using technology to really enhance the experience of our fans, not only in the stadium but also if they're outside.
In between matches, fans and visitors can pass the time in so-called fan zone where one can play and get various FIBA World Cup freebies.
Masaya naman po. Kararating lang namin, so punta pa lang kami dito sa shooting, then nag-ikot-ikot pa lang po sa mga shops. Sean, the next game here at MOA Arena is between Egypt and Lithuania, which will start at 8:30 p.m. But tomorrow, the MOA Arena is expected to be filled with more fans and get jam-packed as Team USA starts its campaign against New Zealand. That's the latest for now. Sean, Reg?
All right, looks so exciting also over there at the MOA Arena. Thank you so much for those updates. News 5's Ian Suyu reporting to us live from the Mall of Asia Arena in Pasay. All right, we're going to pause for a quick break from all this FIBA World Cup action, because we will be speaking to Senator Cynthia Villar, who is not at the arena but is here with us. And she will be talking to us about one of the biggest issues of the day, rising rice prices. That's when the big story returns. Keep it here. still the big story here on One News. We will be getting back to the basketball action later on, but for now, wet markets are starting to run out of cheap rice that are subsidized by the private sector. Our news team reports that more and more shoppers are left with the more expensive varieties, no less than 40 pesos a kilo. Rice traders have said that they can only accommodate their 38 pesos per kilo rice for a limited time. And the Philippine Rice Industry Stakeholders Movement, or PRISM, said that stocks of their subsidized rice will likely last only until next month.
So much to talk about in the agricultural sector. Good thing we have with us tonight Senator Cynthia Villar. She is, of course, the chairperson of the Committee on Agriculture and Food, as well as the Committee on Environment in the Senate. Good evening, Senator Villar. Di ba mas exciting to be here with us than at the Philippine Arena to watch FIBA?
Yeah.
I love it.
I like how Senator Villar said yeah.
A bit hesitatingly, but okay. Senator, you just heard our report about the rising rice prices. As chair of the Committee on Agriculture and Food, what do you want to do about this?
I think the president should issue implement a price ceiling. Kasi I don't think the traders will lose money even if there's a price ceiling, because the cost of rice has not risen really.
Okay, that's what you've been saying for the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that, Senator?
Kasi the cost of producing rice in Vietnam is 6 pesos per kilo of palay. When it's like that, you just multiply it by 2. The cost with rice is 12 pesos per kilo. So you can sell it at 25 because you have a 50% margin. If you have to pay for transportation and taxes, 38 pesos is very reasonable. So I don't think there is an increase in price of rice. It's just that when they said that the Vietnam will increase prices of rice and India will not resume exportation of rice, that send a signal to the traders that they can ask for more, and they are now asking for more. But really, the price of rice hasn't risen.
Okay. It's going to take a lot of political will, though,
and it's also
in order to impose a price ceiling.
But you know, our problem in the Philippines is really the cartel, the middleman. They try to influence to make what you call that artificial shortage of rice, so they can charge more. Like for example, what happened to the onions? The cost of onions in the Philippines is 25 pesos per kilo. How come they're selling it to for 600 to 700 pesos per kilo? That's not possible. That's why when they were doing that, I said we should not eat onions anymore. They're taking advantage of us because they bought the onions from the farmers at 8 to 15 pesos per kilo. They sold the onions at a loss because they have no place to store the onions, and they will just rot.
Mabubulok lang.
Oo, mabubulok.
Sen, actually, I wanted to get your thoughts because your rice tarification law, you were very much a part of that. I believe you're one of the authors.
She drafted
you drafted the rice tarification law. And then now,
it's
been
due
a few
for
years.
renewal.
Right.
That's why they're doing this, so that they have an issue why it should not be renewed. Because the rice tarification law is based on a study by the Philippine Institute of Development study. We compared the cost of producing palay in Vietnam and the Philippines. In Vietnam, they can produce palay at 6 pesos. In the Philippines, it's 12.50. And PIDS studied why it's like that. And they discovered that we are not mechanized. That's why the cost of production is high. The labor cost is high. And then we don't have the good seeds, so that the productivity is low. So we solved that with the rice tarification law. We created a rice competitiveness enhancement fund so that we will improve production and we will improve we will reduce the cost of producing rice. And
Did
we
you
are
look into
in-
the but Senator, did you look into the low utilization for mechanization? Because yung isang part nung RCEF mo, the biggest chunk goes to mechanization because precisely you said that's the problem. No?
Yes,
Old-fashioned tayo
yes,
masyado.
yeah.
Now, the budget is apparently not being utilized according to the budget department.
You know what
Would you
happened?
know why?
I gave it the mechanization to Philmec because that is their specialization, and I gave the seeds to Philrice because that is their specialization. Si Secretary Dar pinaltan yung head ng Philmec, kaya nagkagulo-gulo yung Philmec. But Philrice is doing good. Before the rice tarification law, our production of rice per hectare on the average is 3.7 metric tons. Now they're 4.6. And they said by next year it will be 5 metric tons per hectare. That's a big increase. Our shortage only is 15%. If we make it to 5, that's almost 40% increase. So we're self-sufficient in
That's
rice.
the reason why that's the reason for the low utilization of the funds.
No,
Because of
Philrice
the
has no
nagpalit
problem.
sila. Yeah.
The Philmec
Philmec.
is the one having problem because they changed the one in charge.
So how is it doing now? Sen, have you
They
checked?
haven't
I know-
reported.
You haven't reported.
Oh,
When are you
Philrice has
expecting that?
reported. Anyway, if we are going to renew the rice tarification law, they have to report. And I told them, if you cannot report well, we will have a hard time renewing the rice tarification.
One criticism of RTL, though, Senator, is that it hasn't actually sustainably brought down the price of rice. If you look at
it brought down.
For a
In
short- for a short-
2018,
for a
the
short
price
time.
of, that's why we wrote the rice
Yeah.
tarification law. In 2018, the price of rice rose from 32 to 40 to 48 to 60 pesos per kilo. After we passed the rice tarification law, it went down because we removed the power of importation from
the NFA.
NFA. Kasi sila yung NFA at saka yung trader, sila yung cartel.
Sila yung
But at the
nagko-collude, di ba?
moment, Senator, it's, for instance,
Ngayon lang
well-milled
naman
rice.
bumalik eh.
Oh.
It has been low all
But
these years.
well-milled rice, for instance, at the moment, is still sitting about 45 pesos per kilo, right? So
yeah.
medyo mataas pa rin po.
Oh,
So,
because nga, they know that there was an announcement that there will be shortage. May reason na yung trader to increase the price kasi nasa kanila na yung rice.
so
Wala
then
na
the
sa
question
farmer.
is, why can't we go after these price manipulators?
Exactly, because
kaya nga.
Senator has a bill now, right? You
Yeah.
have a bill on agri-smuggling called the Anti-Agri-Smuggling and Economic Sabotage Bill. Now, you under that, this will be non-bailable kung nahuli ka,
Oo.
no?
And we included cartel already.
Yes, and then may creation pa of special courts in your
For this.
proposal.
Oo. Kasi nakita ko noon na lahat ng smuggling is 10 million and above, but no one was arrested.
Ni isa,
Or
right? Wala.
Miski isa.
Why is
in
it so
a
hard to go
period.
after this?
I
It's
don't
been a
know.
decades-old problem.
It's self-explanatory. They have money.
Okay, so
That's
do you
why
smugglers,
we're
hoarders,
amending-
price manipulators,
We're
they're all-
amending the bill now, which we passed in 2016, to include cartel and hoarding, and then we will create a special court to try this so that the special court, if the court is just doing this, nakakahiya naman na wala sila ma-prosecute. Di ba?
Okay, related to that, Senator, we have to talk about farmlands, no? You and Senator Raffy Tulfo have clashed a number of times over the issue of converting farmlands into commercial and residential areas. Sabi niya, it's the big developers who are making farmlands smaller and smaller because you keep buying up these lands and turning it to subdivisions.
If you read the report, the farmlands are not getting smaller and smaller. You know, to build a house, you just need a small amount of land, and it's only in the cities. You don't build houses in the farmlands because nobody will buy houses in the farmlands. You know, this buyer of houses, they live in the cities, and of course, they want a house which, if they want to sell later on, they make money on it. Or may appreciation. You don't, there's no appreciation of houses in the farmlands.
Actually,
That's the reality.
there's World Bank data, actually, that shows that our agricultural areas, as a percentage of our total fixed land area, it actually has gone up.
Yeah.
It actually
That's
has gone
the
up.
findings.
But it does not remove the problem, Senator, no, that some
actually it's
productive farmlands are being taken out of production. I'm not talking about the lands that become subdivisions, but actual arable productive farmlands. So they're being taken out of production daw.
Why?
Nila-land bank daw yung lupa. Kasi it has to be, I think there's a law na hindi dapat 10 to 15 years na walang irrigation in that area before you can convert it.
No, it's not true. You know, in the first place, agriculture will only become successful if you improve on the technology and in mechanization, in better seeds. It's not the amount of land, it's how you use the land. If we can teach our farmers to do it better, even if there are lesser land, we will make more production. And besides, the developers, they don't buy in the farmlands because nobody will buy from you when you build in the farmlands. You know, you're guided by the demand also.
We're going to take it from you because you're the property
land
developer.
doesn't buy farmlands.
We buy in the cities because that's where the demand is. And now, the trend now is to build condominiums. So condominiums, it entails little land because with little land, you can build so much. So it's also a business model. It's not going against agriculture. Of course, we want to improve agriculture because all of us, we can do away without anything except food.
Exactly.
So food is very important to us. Like you, I really want to help the farmers. And they are the poorest in this country. So if we want to improve the poverty incidence in the Philippines, you have to help the farmers.
Well, to that end, Senator, and forgive me for being so bold as to ask this,
Yeah.
your family has the means to go into any business, any industry.
Yes.
Why not agriculture and farming?
I have a farm school in Las Piñas, in Iloilo, in San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, and in Davao City. I have a farm school. And I have developed a tourist farm beside my farm school. And we're spending for that. That's our advocacy.
All right. Actually, earlier this week, we had Agrarian Reform Secretary Conrado Estrella III here, and he was quite candid also about the issues sounding the sector. Actually, let's listen to Secretary Estrella himself. We have this clip for you, son.
You have to make agriculture sexy again. We have to make
That's
it
our
sexy
country.
again. And addressing your concern about the next generation, providing lands also to graduates of 4-year agricultural courses. And I think we should take this opportunity because this will be the new breed of farmers that will be able to address climate change.
Senator Villar, I'm pretty sure you also want to make farming sexy again. And you've started by putting up the schools. Now, based on the students, how long have your schools been up, the farm schools? And what can you notice about the enrollees? Dumadami ba sila? Mas marami na bang nagiging interesado?
In 2016, I passed the Farm Tourism Law, which provided for the establishment of farm schools in all the towns in the Philippines. I gave a big budget to TESDA so that the farmers who will attend the farm school do not have to pay. And at the same time, the farm school will earn para they will continue teaching. And besides, I want the farms to have more income. May income sila sa farm school, may income sila sa tourism, may income pa sila do sa farming. That makes them better. And I'm glad to tell you that after 7 years, 2016 up to now, there are 2,800 farm schools all over the Philippines.
How are the
Enrollment.
enrollees? Marami ba?
Like me, I teach farming for free in my farm school. Bumabata, I'm very happy. Kasi yung pinadadala nila sa farm school ko, mga bata na more siguro 2/3 bata, and 1/3 na lang ang older. And before, the average age of farmer is 58 years old. Ngayon, 54 na. Hopefully, bababa. Kasi yung mechanization will encourage young people to do farming. Kasi ayaw na nila magtanim with the hand. They want to operate machines. That's why we are really bent on mechanization. And besides, it lowers the cost of production. Kasi Vietnam, we spend more 350 per kilo ng for labors than Vietnam. Kaya yung 6 peso difference natin, 350 non labor. Because we're not mechanized and they are mechanized.
Senator, sorry, I have to jump to another topic because I've been told that we're running out of time. But there's so much more to talk to you about. Reclamation.
Yes.
You've long been against reclamation.
Yeah, because we have 4 rivers in Las Piñas. And they're all
There's so much
going out
reclamation
of
going on,
Manila
Parañaque,
Bay.
Cavite, Las Piñas.
That's why I've always been against it. I've been fighting reclamation for 20 years.
I hear you want to call an investigation into the current projects there.
The Senate passed a resolution asking my committee to investigate. So I will start investigation. I just have to pass the anti-smuggling and the salt development bill because that's part of our promise to the president. But after that, before our session ends this September 28, I will have the first hearing on the Manila Bay reclamation. And since we're going on vacation, then I can do the hearing during the break.
Has this issue of reclamation divided the family? Because, of course, the Aguilars also have...
That's different. That's local government. Our family is the Villar family. We're one in this. So, but, all local governments are for reclamation.
Kaya nga. So there's not been any tension because, they see it differently.
I told my brother, I don't like reclamation. He cannot influence me. And he died already. So the mayor is not my brother anymore. It's an in-law.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't talk about it at the dinner table?
No.
But there's another concern, no, Senator Villar. Siyempre, alam naman natin yung nangyari sa Manila Bay. And then President Marcos and the DNR Secretary, they've already moved to suspended, supposedly. But according to Pamalakaya, hindi pa raw talaga suspended.
Yeah,
regardless, no, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce has said that itong pagka-wishy-washy, okay, go reclaim, no, and then taking it back, it could send a bad message to investors. They're saying it might paint our government in a bad light or as wishy-washy. What do you have to say about that?
This the ECC of this reclamation was issued for 1 year, 22 of them. We were not even consulted. I'm the chairman of the Senate Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. I'm our wetland, Las Piñas Parañaque wetland, is legislated protected area.
That's what I
and
remember.
we have what we call PAMBI, the one managing the wetland. Yeah. And we were not consulted. And we're supposed to determine what will happen in that vicinity because a legislated protected area, according to the DNR, is entitled to a 3-kilometer buffer zone. How come they allow reclamation on that 3-kilometer buffer zone?
Is it that near?
Yes.
To the wetlands?
It's beside.
Like less than 3 kilometers? Less
No,
1 kilometer?
no buffer zone.
No buffer zone?
Oh, right
As in,
there.
ganun agad?
Oh.
Which
Like
is
what
illegal.
happened to Sofitel. Did you see Sofitel?
yes,
Did you
yes.
see the what you call the Coconut Palace and you see the seascape by the bay? It has now become the seascape by the sand.
Yes. So, ganun din yung nangyayari sa inyo?
You're happy that it's been suspended
Of
at the
course.
moment. Yeah. Senator, let's talk about the Senate 19th Congress.
Yeah.
This is your second term.
Yes.
I know it's still a few years out, pero what comes after this?
What do you mean? What do you want
In
to know
terms of
about?
your political plans?
I'm retiring from the Senate.
After
Talaga?
this?
Oh, I'll
You
go
have one-
local.
You'll go local.
Have you decided on what exactly?
I'm not decided, but I like to go local.
After this Congress. Which area? Of course,
Las Piñas.
Las Piñas pa rin.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are your hopes? Why go local? You're already in the national scene, and why are you thinking
No, it's
send to
end term. You are entitled only to 2 terms. So, and I don't like to return anymore after that.
Why
I have
not?
done my best.
Why
you
not,
know,
Senator?
I've been chairman of the Senate Committee on Agriculture and Food for 10 years. I have done my best. I have written a law to improve sugar, to improve fishing, to improve organic farming, to improve the coconut industry, the rice industry, everything. And you will realize that you might have written a good law, but if the implementation is not good, then it's difficult.
Which ones of those laws that you mentioned helping different agricultural sectors, ano yung pinaka hindi ka masaya? That you wrote a law, it's not being enforced.
Like I wrote, the first law I wrote is about sugar.
We know what
They
sugar
did not
prices.
enforce it. I provided 2 billion budget to the sugar industry. And it's so easy to implement. 1 billion for infrastructure, 300 million for loans sa land bank, 300 million for mechanization, 300 million for the ARB's beneficiary, 100 million for scholarship. What's so difficult about that? You can just assign it to the different agencies of government, like DPWH will not have a hard time implementing 1 billion worth of farm-to-mill roads.
So what do you think happened there?
I don't know. I cannot understand. That's why I'm stressed.
Na-stress tayo in that state, Senator?
Yeah, I'm stressed.
That's why you're retiring from national
I think I have done
positions.
my best. I have done my share.
But you will continue your farm schools.
Yeah, of course. That's owned by our foundation. So I will continue that. I have 4 farm schools, 2 in Luzon, 1 in Visayas, 1 in Mindanao. And then I have in my environment, I have 3 plastic factory converting waste plastic into school chairs. I have 1 in Las Piñas. I have 1 in the Visayas. I have 1 in Mindanao, in Cagayan de Oro, in Iloilo, because they're so heavy, 20 kilos of plastic each chair. So I cannot transport them to Visayas and Mindanao.
20 kilos?
Yeah.
Yes, ang bigat ng chair. Actually, nakita ko yung chair ninyo sa Manila. And then my friend told me na it came from Senator Villar's
Mabigat talaga siya.
Mabigat siya. It's very solid.
Kaya naman nasisira ang chair sa school, hinahagis ng mga bata. Ito hindi nila pwede ihagis.
I struggled to carry it. And it looks light kasi plastic siya. Then when you try to lift it,
mabigat. It's
mabigat.
solid.
It's solid. It's solid.
That's so
it
interesting.
serves the purpose. It will not get destroyed.
Yeah.
Hindi ka ba mamimiss ng mga contemporaries mo sa Senate?
Mama Bear is what they call you.
No, my son is there already. So
But he's not a mama bear. You are the mama bear.
You are the mama bear of the Senate, of the 19th Congress.
Malalaki na sila, kaya na nila yun.
All right, we're going to have to leave that there for now. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. Live in
it's a
studio,
pleasure.
Senator
It's a
Cynthia
pleasure.
Villar.
We're gonna go on another quick break for now. Right after that, we have more updates on Tropical Cyclone Goring. Keep it here on One News.
Welcome back. You are still watching the big story here on One News. Sorry, I couldn't read the prompter.
Okay, so quick update on the basketball game. It's now halftime and the score is 42 all. Super exciting.
So exciting.
It's so exciting.
Literally got me on the edge of my seat. Here are the other big stories, though, that we're keeping an eye on today. The Office of the Ombudsman has placed past and incumbent DepEd and Budget Department officials under preventive suspension. That's in connection with the procurement of alleged overpriced laptops for teachers. The suspended officials include DepEd Undersecretary Annalyn Sevilla, former DepEd USEC Elaine Del Pascua, and former DBM Procurement Service Chief Lloyd Christopher Lau. Lau is also facing graft charges over the Farmally scandal. 3 Filipinos working in an elderly home in California, USA have been found guilty of abuse. According to reports, 6 elderly residents of Secure Hands Board and Care Facility were found to be malnourished, living in filth, and lacking basic care. All 3 Filipino suspects have been convicted of felony, elder abuse, 2 of whom will be serving at least 7 years in prison. We'll be having a rainy weekend, sadly.
I am so sad to have to say this. Yes, it will be a rainy, long weekend as Goring has intensified into a severe tropical storm. Goring Center was last spotted by Pag-asa at 260 kilometers east of Calayan in Cagayan. It is packing winds of 110 to 135 kph. The severe tropical storm is moving southeastward very slowly. Goring is forecast to rapidly intensify and could hit typhoon category by tomorrow and even achieve maximum strength and become a super typhoon by Monday. That said, some areas are now under signal number 1. These are Batanes, the eastern portion of the Babuyan Islands, the eastern part of mainland Cagayan, and the eastern portion of Isabela. Severe tropical storm Goring is also expected to enhance the southwest monsoon or habagat, which will in turn affect the western portions of central Luzon and southern Luzon. The enhanced habagat will also continue to bring gusty conditions over Metro Manila, Calabarzon, the Bicol region, and most of Mimaropa and the Visayas. So if you have any long weekend plans or if you are watching any FIBA game over the weekend, pack your umbrellas.
You can't bring umbrellas into the arena.
Well, bring a pangit one so you can leave it outside.
Ano ba yan? It's like, okay, you try to get in out of the rain, but anyways, while basketball fans are still enjoying tonight's game at the Philippine Arena, let's get the latest on the traffic situation over at the NLEX for those leaving Metro Manila tonight ahead of this very long weekend. We have Gio Robles joining us live from NLEX Balintawak. Gio, what's it looking like?
Reg, at this hour, it's going to be an easy drive, at least for motorists heading out of Metro Manila, as we're seeing light traffic on major parts of NLEX tonight. Though we're seeing a slight buildup of vehicles approaching the toll gates, just like here at the NLEX Balintawak Toll Plaza. You can still expect a smooth sailing road trip up north for that much-awaited long weekend vacation. Overall, traffic is manageable at Mindanao Toll Plaza, Bocaue Toll Plaza, both lanes of Candaba Viaduct, and the Uto Angeles interchange in Pampanga. However, we're still anticipating major gridlock later in the evening at Ciudad de Victoria Toll Plaza southbound. Heavy traffic is expected as basketball fans heading home from the Philippine Arena are seen to flock this area once the opening games of the FIBA World Cup ends. Now, Reg, a special shout out to our team, Gilas Pilipinas. All right. And of course, we're talking about thousands of cars heading home from Philippine Arena tonight. So travelers are advised to leave early, be prepared, keep your cool, and of course, enjoy your long weekend. Back to you, Reg.
Wise words indeed. A nice shirt, Gio Robles, live for us at the end. Okay, para no question who you're supporting tonight. Thanks for that, Gio Robles.
And it is a nail-biter first half over at the Philippine Arena. As we said, Gilas Pilipinas tied with the DR, 42 all. Now, it has been a tight game throughout. And just to recap, President Marcos did not make it in time for the ceremonial jump ball, but Gilas did get the first shot courtesy of Dwight Ramos. From there, it was a slow start for Gilas, with Jordan Clarkson still finding his footing and missing some shots. The national team managed to stick to Dominican Republic, led by Anthony Towns. Things started to heat up for Gilas in the second, with the team showing great defense, getting aggressive on the ring, even leading the Dominican Republic at 1 point. But now, halftime is underway.
Well, that is what analysts have said to us, right? Defense is going to be key, so here's hoping they can keep it up. Now, as we mentioned before, the FIBA World Cup is being held not only here in the Philippines, but also, of course, in Japan and Indonesia. Several games are now underway in Okinawa and Jakarta. In what was supposed to be one of the more exciting games of the FIBA World Cup opener, Australia made it a pretty one-sided affair, crushing Finland 98-72 on the opening day of the competition in Okinawa. Patty Mills led the way for the Aussies with 25 points, while Josh Giddey flirted with a triple-double, scoring 14 points, 9 rebounds, and dishing out 8 assists. The same could also be said over in Jakarta as Latvia dominated Lebanon en route to a 109-70 victory. It was Latvia's balanced scoring that propelled them to the 39-point victory as 7 players from the team scored double digits. Up next for the European squad will be powerhouse France on Sunday.
So we're going to have to end the show not knowing whether or not we beat the record for the most number of fans
But
on
we're
opening
getting there,
day.
apparently. We're
Apparently.
close enough.
I know,
According
so
to Gretchen, who's been messaging us updates,
Yes.
mga 33,000 na daw,
But
supposedly.
we have yet to confirm that. So until the game ends and the final numbers are in, we won't know for sure. So here's a little big picture for tonight. I'm going to be throwing it back to a photo of former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. tossing the ball during the 1978 Basketball World Cup. It was reported that President Bongbong Marcos would also be doing the ball toss for the 2023 FIBA World Cup, but sadly, it did not push through tonight.
This is the picture that they're trying to recreate, right? It's a bit, that's why it was historic on so many fronts. 1978 was the last time we hosted the FIBA World Cup, and again now it's another Marcos in power.
I know, it's too bad though that President Marcos didn't make it in time because he usually is very punctual.
Exactly. We were joking about whether or not na-traffic siya, but I mean, how could he have? Because it would have been, the convoy would have gone straight, right? They would have cleared the roads for him.
For the president.
So we don't know what happened there. We're seeing footage now.
We're
Oh,
seeing
that's
President
halftime,
Marcos. I think he's going to do the third quarter jump ball instead. So maybe there is a chance to recreate the photo, albeit...
That's nice of them to try to give him that chance.
It is. We see him now with the MVP and
standing next to SVP Chairman Manny Pangilinan and President Al Panlilio and other FIBA officials.
And I also like the president's jacket. It is very, very nice. It almost matches with
Ayan
Gio's
na.
shirt.
Here we go. The picture that he's trying to recreate.
All right,
Tipping
so
us off
there
for the
is
third
still,
quarter.
I can see the Jumbotron, 2:36, still over 2 minutes to go before the start of the third quarter. But as we can see here, there's Japet Aguilar with his arm around President Marcos.
Just to illustrate how tall Japet Aguilar is, look at that. President Marcos is not exactly a short man, but we're also seeing FIBA officials. That's Dirk Nowitzki.
And
Sorry,
some members of the
camera
presidential
panned too
staff.
fast, so I can't see. Some of the presidential security guard, of course. Is that Jordan Clarkson? No, it's
That is
CJ
CJ
Perez.
Perez.
And the rest of the Gilas Filipinos coming to shake the president's hand. Jamie Malonzo in there as well.
AJ Adu. I think all the boys are in there. Dwight Ramos.
Of course, a ceremonial group photo with the president. And again, all of these was meant to be done at the start of the game, but the president arrived a few minutes late. That's why they're recreating it now.
But he did stay for the game,
Oh,
though, so I think he'll stay.
there's no ball toss.
Oh, there
okay,
was
so
no
it's
ball-
just a group photo. Okay.
Oh, I'm kind of sad that the photo was not recreated. I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison.
nga.
All right, so the second half is about to start. That's it for the show tonight. We're going to catch that second half. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good night.